My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. Well, not quite the monumental total that was expected from Team India, but having a look at the surface, and we'll discuss that with our guests, maybe it could just be enough with the start that they were given from Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul. Just a reminder of the final total, 179 for 5. Good finish from Virat Kohli, and then some lusty hits from Manish Pandey, and a final one from Ravindra Jadeja, getting them to 179 for 5. So honours, in fact, to both our guests in the studio, Zaheer Khan and Harsha Bhogle. Zaheer Khan for getting Rohit Sharma as the maximum point scorer, but Harsha Bhogle sitting on the My 11 Circle expert couch, 1 run away from your exact total.
And I was going to go 171, if you remember. We just sort of last minute slipped in 178. I think it's a good score. I don't know, I just think that if Jadeja and Chahal bowl well, gripping little, might be a good score. Bumrah's 4 overs. See, you take that 127 run over out, where Rohit just went berserk and allowed Zach all those points. But Rohit went berserk. So it would have been 152 in 19.
And have a look at the reason why we've actually separated our normal innings progression is because that 6th over got them to 27 of Hamish Bennett. The next 5 got them the same amount of runs for the loss of 3 wickets. That was completely a turnaround.
Well, I mean, every time more and more cricket you see, and you'll understand it more, that how much is the importance of wickets. Yeah. You know, at any stage of the games, you take wickets and it has a direct impact on how the runs are scored. And that was something which was the only way for New Zealand to get back in that game and pull things back. And that's exactly what happened. So I think, credit to the New Zealand bowlers also that they stayed in the game. It's not easy, it is not easy when you've not taken a single wicket of the opposition and they're going so hard. The only way you can get back in the game is by picking wickets. But credit to the bowlers that they believed in it and they stayed in the game. So that is something which is the most vital component if when you see these kind of totals being pulled back. So I think New Zealand bowlers, yes, the wicket also assisted. I felt the wicket did help the spinners, and that really added that momentum shift in that middle phase of the innings which we are talking about, and that is the good thing for Indian bowlers to look at this break. I think they will know that there will be some kind of help in the wicket. They have to make sure that new ball is bowled really well, and don't let New Zealand batsmen to get off to a flyer, which you've seen with the Indian innings. I think that is something which is going to be the deciding factor of this defense from the Indian bowlers. If they're able to do that, restrict them from scoring run, even if they don't pick that many wickets, set the game in the middle overs for the spinners, because there is definitely some kind of help on offer for the spinners when they bowl in the middle overs.
But credit to Hamish Bennett as well. 2 overs for 40 and then 4 overs for 54, 3 for 54. So again, wickets helping him. But the very fact that Sodhi and Santner were getting the ball to stop and grip may have been reducing the number of runs for India, but it would have been good news for the Indian spinners.
Even Kugelin, 2 overs for 10. When he took the pace off, when he banged it 10, used the bounce. So that's why I think 179 will be a good score. It'll be interesting to see how he uses Bumrah, because when you're defending runs, you want to keep Bumrah overs back, maybe 18, 20, keep them back. But if you don't, new ball is the time to go after the bowling. Yeah. So whether he wants to bowl him 2 overs up front, last time he only bowled him 1 over up front. Whether he'll probably get 2 out of him and keep 2 back. Or most people who use Bumrah like that 1 over around 11, 12 and 2 at the end. You see even Mumbai Indians use him a lot like that. Try and get only 1 over in the first 6 out of him. Today he might use 2. I don't know. I think it'll depend on how Shardul bowls up front.
But also, if you look at, the way the wicket's been playing, you obviously, Virat Kohli, we saw in his body language, it wasn't the kind of Virat Kohli who'd come out and say, okay, listen, Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul have had a party, I've joined the party. You could see he was maybe a little frustrated at times, but he was also talking to Shreyas Iyer a lot and saying, listen, let's just get to a certain total. This is not 200 plus here.
Well, usually when you get off to a fly, rest of the batsmen are always caught in that middle zone, where they want to keep up with the tempo, but also it's important to understand what exactly conditions have to offer, and those 3 wickets in cluster actually was going to change that momentum shift. It's not about, keeping the same tempo going. It's about understanding and making sure that, get to a respectable total, or the total which will give you the best chance of winning this match. I still feel that this is a very good total on this track. It's just the brilliance of KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma is making things look in this manner, where you're expecting that 200 mark. But I think 200 would have been above par total on this kind of a surface. I think 180 is still above par. In excess of this would have been great for Indian team. But I think that they've got enough to be able to defend and secure this series and the match.
He's shown this inclination to send Dubey up. He's done it a couple of times now. I just thought on this surface, it was the most skillful batsman who would do better, but we are talking from hindsight.
Yeah.
We didn't know at that time, but it seems now from hindsight. So if you see, once the track started to look that way, Kohli 38 of 27, even Shreyas got only 17 of 16 with 1-6. So it became a little more difficult. I just thought Kohli at 3, Kohli should be 3s. When you're the world's best, you are reason you're the world's best.
Every time I see him batting towards the latter half of the innings, I can't help but picturing that image that Ajay Jadeja has planted in our head of Kohli batting on the other side in the slums, and how he feels, how different it is
From
from
slogging at the end. Kohli, why does Kohli have to slog at the end? Kohli goes, he sets the pace, The tiger goes for the killers and the...
But coming to those who did bat in among the skyscrapers in South Bombay, as it were, if you like to use that analogy, but Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, you could see when Rohit Sharma took over, KL Rahul hit that one trademark 6 to third man. But once he saw Rohit Sharma silky smooth at the other end, he was just looking to take single and say, okay, it's your day.
And Rohit Sharma, being the class batsman that he is, also understands when you're going well, you keep the strike. So at one point, Rohit had played 35 balls to KL Rahul 17. And it made sense. I mean, today is just Rohit's day. I mean, a player like him, I still think ODIs is his number one format, but a player like him, you can't keep him out for too long.
And that over, particularly that over from Hamish Bennett, it was not slogging. It almost as if those 5 strokes he hit there, the 2 6s, 2 4s, he was getting better in that over with every stroke.
With Rohit, it's never slogging.
Correct.
It's pure hitting with ease. That's something which we always see. And when he is in his elements, he's a treat to watch. So that we've seen in time and time again. And you can't keep him away for too long from having this kind of impact. And that's what great players do, isn't it? They always want to show that, okay, that's the authority. So I think Rohit Sharma is in that phase in his career where it's always about going out there and living up to that reputation. So it's always a treat to see him when he gets going.
Certainly is, and you could see how disappointed it was because he just looked set for a big one. And I think in Combox, you sort of put the curse on him. Already started talking about 3 figures, I believe.
But the Combox is the most prolific wicket taker anyway. Some people think it's my tweets, but I think the Combox does even better. Yeah, I'd like to see them bowl well to Munro early on. He's the one left-hander in the top order, right? Because you look down that side, there isn't another left-hander till Santner comes. Because you got Ross Taylor, Colin de Grandhomme, Tim Seifert, they're all right-handers. I think if you get Munro early, you can bring Jadeja into the game early and the captain will have much more flexibility.
And of course, Colin de Grandhomme, listening to Simon Doolan commentary, he said, who's this? I don't even recognize him. He hasn't bowled for so long. And sure enough, he comes in, golden arm, first over wicket.
Yeah, true. But he bowled, 2 overs, right? Yeah, but I think that's his role.
His job is to come and
that's his role, bowl 2-3 overs. It'll be interesting to see how he does going in at number 4. Whether they'll want to have a more pedigreed batsman. They want a Ross Taylor early to get set to finish the chase. That we'll have to wait and see.
But if you did tune in to My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live at the start, we teased the fact that on 27th of January 2018 was the first Cricbuzz Live show. It was an auction special with Joy, with Gaurav Kapoor and Harsha, and sort of 2 years and a couple of days. It's good to look back at that time.
It's great fun. At that time, no one knew what Cricbuzz Live was going to become. It started with a Facebook Live. Remember? Cricbuzz started with Facebook Live. It became Cricbuzz Live. And the interesting thing was, what do you do when you have no footage? Is there a non-live programming option? And so we said, we'll just have fun and chat. And then you came along and Zach came along. Now Viru's sitting upstairs. So many people have come by here. But at heart, it's remained 3 people sitting together and chatting and let people listen. So we've actually done a radio on Cricbuzz. It's great fun.
I remember listening here, somebody was mentioning, one day I was listening to Harsha on radio in Australia, driving down from Brisbane to the Gold Coast, and somebody said the secret to a good program where you're not interrupting it with footage, and radio obviously there is no footage, you're listening, is to eavesdrop on a conversation. And I think that's what it has been, eavesdropping.
Exactly. I think the best part is you watch the game and you talk about the game.
Yeah.
And keep it as simple as possible. It's just about what you're finding from the game, and that's the best part. That's what I love. There are no interruptions. There is we've created red table as well. Red table is something which
Got to bring it back for this year's IPL maybe.
yeah. So yeah, I've had a great time since the time I've started. I think not the first show. I missed the first show, but from second show onwards, I was there from the review of that auction. Review of the IPL season, and thoroughly enjoyed
And
it.
then he ditched us, so he can't come at this
That's
IPL.
good. Selectors have to look out and pick.
He's gone back to being that other guy he used to be, that fast bowler and coach and all this.
Yeah, the red table also used to be under threat because for some reason Gaurav Kapoor felt that he wanted to take it home from
He
time
did.
to time.
Eventually, he took it home, I think.
I know, it's just we need to keep it glued so he doesn't take it away. But it's not just all of us who are part of this conversation. It's so many of you who have joined in the conversation, and as a result of which you've shown your love, and we thank you for that. So in these 2 years, we just picked a few of your reactions, and I think this just says it all. Never before have the pre, mid, and post been so interesting. Almost feels like three friends are talking.
last
Very
line
little
that's good.
jargon thrown around.
So if you've noticed, among the three friends, we got different kinds of people. So today we had a Bumrah masterclass because you had someone who understands that. Then you've got Joy who comes and tells the quirkiest stories in the world. Sometimes I look at Joy and say, Joy, did you really say that? So that's good fun, yeah.
And you can have a look at this, someone who's in South Korea and didn't have TV, and therefore what's the best way? So wherever in the world you are, you don't have to be in South Korea, you could be in India. And this one I'm going to get Harsha in it, going the Warren Buffett way. Now,
Why does Warren Buffett use a cell phone?
Probably does.
I'll tell you why I use a cell phone, because I'm looking at the Cricbuzz app on it all the time. So it's just so I'm looking at the numbers, so yeah.
And I like the way you finished with the Raging Bookshelf. That was another interesting handle. It's a pity you guys only go on for 30 minutes, but I think that's the beauty of it all. You keep it going. We could go on for much longer, and I think that's the beauty of our
I
conversation.
remember last year, this was the year of Cricbuzz Live, I'm walking in St. James Park in London, and there's this kid who comes running after, and his mother's with him. And she says, look, I'm sorry, but I don't know who you are. But my kid's saying he wants to say hello. And I said, hello. He said, Cricbuzz Live! I said, I did 25 years of television, man. Cricbuzz Live. So it's interesting how it goes along after a while. I think there's a slot for a program like this.
But I think the beauty of it is, and Harsha didn't mention any of those stories. He mentioned someone's son who came and said that. But we've had situations where someone comes and says, oh, my mother's a great fan of yours. But also, again, coming back to saying people of all generations are now adapted to this format and they listen.
It's about consuming the content, isn't it? And we differentiate in a way from others. Where we keep it very casual and candid, and I think that's the best part for me, because you're not put in a structure of saying things. You can actually speak your mind out and talk about the game beyond what most people can say it, or look at those finer points which can be missed by many just because of a particular structure. So that's something which I really enjoy. Where I feel that freedom to express and look at those things which are
like the heavy roller. I think they're using a heavy roller. Okay, maybe they're using a heavy roller. But
yeah, that's again where the jargon comes in. But yes, it's unfortunate that we can only have 3 seats on the studio. Some of us are on the My Evelyn Circle expert couch.
Yes.
Others on
I know it's
normal
hurting
couch.
you, but you can keep saying it. I know it's hurting you. But when was the last time you got this?
We'll have to pull out the archives. To find out where that was. But the fact is there are so many virtual couches and virtual chairs for all of you. So the message to everyone on #Cricbuzz Live, keep the family growing, because you're all very much a part of us. But we won't forget that we are actually chatting candidly, yes, about today's game. 180 is what New Zealand have to get, having won the toss. So I think it's going to be really about so much up to the likes of Jasprit Bumrah and the spinners to try and pull things back. Martin Guptill, Colin Munro have given New Zealand good starts but haven't gone on. Kane Williamson showed his wares in the first match, not in the second. Tim Seifert too has been inconsistent, but I think really it's the backup of the likes of Ross Taylor. Colin de Grandhomme today came up with a wicket. Maybe that'll inspire him to score some runs. He hasn't got anything so far.
Yeah. That last was 18 runs, wasn't it? I think in the end that could be the difference. After 6 overs, that's what you're heading to. Wasn't it? You want to find out what's
No. The couch is yours.
You got time? We got
Unless
time?
you want to give it away.
No, I just think 180 is a good score on this. 180 is a good score. I'm thinking 52 for 2.
All right, so we normally don't go on for the second one if someone's got it, but if someone gets it spot on, we're not going to have any plus minus. Let's put this, if someone gets it spot on in terms of the 6 over score, we will have the My 11 Circle expert couch change hands. So 52 for Harsha?
40 for 2.
40 for 2, okay. So
40 for 2 is game over.
Game over, yeah.
40 for 2
I think
then it's game over.
I somehow feel that it's going to be that kind of a game, where New Zealand will be out of the game earlier than what is expected. Maybe for them we'll see that batting lineup shift as well. Maybe Grandhomme will be batting bit lower down the order, and from New Zealand's point of view, I think they should be looking to do that change. It will be dependent heavily on the start, and then Kane Williamson is going to hold that key again because he's the only batsman who I see is capable of putting some pressure on the spinners. If he's not there, then I think it's going to be very difficult for New Zealand to
My
stay.
gut feel is they'll attack the new ball because they realize that's when you can score runs with a field in hard ball. If they get away, Guptill and Munro, that's their chance. Get away with attacking the new ball, score 60 in the first 6 overs, then you got a chance.
All right, so I'm going to go 53 for 1. 53 for 1.
I said 52, I think 53.
Oh, is it? Wait, 52?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll
I mean, I know you want this chair badly. We don't have to stick to my...
56 for 1.
Okay,
Is that okay? Far enough away? 56 for 1. Fair enough. But no, Colin de Grandhomme doesn't have to score because he's not in my team. I couldn't put him. He had been forgotten all about him. So he's not in my team. Don't want him to score. In fact, if you're an Indian, don't want anyone to score at all. But we expect the likes of Munro and Guptill to come hard. That's all we have on this particular show. Once again, a reminder, keep all that coming in 2 years and 2 days. And it's only just the beginning. Thank you, gentlemen, for the moment. 6th over will be when we decide, will the chair change hands? 10th over, Cricbuzz, Combox. And at the end of it all, to wrap things up, on late in the afternoon, My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live.